So Henry Cavill is a total G. At the beginning of the year, that stupid Argyle film, which nobody talks about anymore. Funny about that. And the fact that he was only in the film for about 7 minutes was an obvious bait and switch. Kind of ended up hurting his perception in Hollywood on one hand, but then on the other, just people once again parroting the point that, you know what, can we just go ahead and fire this guy's agent and let him be the Hollywood superstar that he is destined to be? Can we go ahead and finally give this guy a fair shake? Don't know if it's ultimately going to end up happening, but he definitely does deserve it because the guy is just, he's naturally charismatic at a time where you couldn't even pick out a Hollywood celebrity from a random lineup of 12 other individuals. You tell me that you've been in a Scorsese film in 2023, that's fantastic. And yeah, it's a Diet Coke and small fries on the side, thanks, and don't mess it up again. That's likely the conversation that we'd have to have. Everybody for years has pointed out that Henry Cavill has it. What is it exactly? Well, it manifests in every interview that the guy gives. And this interview, this one specifically with Geeked, and I don't know, in service of promoting a series that he left because, well, the showrunners weren't necessarily all that geeked on putting out a faithful interpretation of the character, something that he is very passionate about, and the reason that he wanted to be a part of the series to begin with, The Witcher. Well, now he has an opportunity to go ahead and promote something else that he's very passionate about, and, well, as a lot of people were just also fawning over this interview, this little 2-minute long clip, going, oh my god, why can't Henry Cavill be a star? Clearly, you know what, he's so passionate, and maybe that's why he's being handcuffed. But I've seen this make the rounds once again, and, well, they're kind of missing a couple of things, okay? There's a couple of obvious things. If you're properly attuned, that exposes a lot of uncomfortable truths that I kind of wanted to bring to light on this one. So we're going to go ahead and watch this. We're going to stop it frequently, and I'm going to point out a few different things. So just follow along, shall we?
Now we're on Netflix Geeked, so let's talk about what you guys personally.
Oh yeah, and there's Felicia Day, which, oh my god, I don't know how many chemicals she has pumped in her face anymore. Like, she used to look like a human being, but I don't know, is she also trying to position herself in the new Aliens movie that's coming out? Because she's a kind of a dead ringer, one of the engineers.
Geek out about. Henry, let's start with you.
Specifically which universe, or just...
I mean, just anything.
Oh my goodness, here we go.
How long have you got?
You've got so many and I've got none.
Yeah,
like,
I was like, how much time do we have?
Listen, I'll say.
Okay, yeah, so there's the rest of the castmates from The Witcher. I didn't watch the show or anything like that. I'm not too familiar with too many of the characters. But apparently those are the people that were also on the set with her. Like, there's a Yennefer and a Ciri. I think this chick that's sitting very upright, who's leaning into what Henry's saying right there, also adding additional commentary over the top of it with a smile on her face. We're going to be seeing a lot from her coming up based on the reactions of Henry and what he's going to be talking about. But then the chick with the blonde hair and then the pink suit, well, she's also going to expose a couple of other things. Not that would get me thrown off the internet for posting on YouTube, but you know, we'll point them out as they come along.
Sit here all day listening.
Ruling out The Witcher.
Yeah, no, The Witcher. Okay.
I mean, the easy answer is Warhammer 40,000.
Now, when the time that this initially got posted, I don't think that there was any official announcement. I think it was probably still Superman at the time. Oh, that he would be doing a Warhammer 40K series for Amazon, but here we are.
That is my jam.
Oh, and there she is. Okay, and this is the first tell that's right there. Okay, that's my jam, and then just immediately cackles and dismisses.
I have been into it since I was 10.
What's your army at the moment?
Custodes.
Yeah, I'm going Necrons next
Necrons?
year.
Wait, oh.
Okay, all right, cool.
You could see the way that he's like, oh my god, somebody else wants to talk about this stuff that I'm really passionate about. And it's like, oh man, yeah, we can play a game later. He's like, oh my god, it's going to be so cool. Because on top of being a very lore-rich franchise, there's multiple different ways that you can engage with it. If you're not familiar with Warhammer 40K, I only know a little bit over the top of it. I'm not by any means an expert or anywhere, you know, versed at all. But yeah, a lot of the little miniatures that you know about, okay, all the little paintings that's out there. Yeah, that's Warhammer stuff, okay?
Were you into?
Yes.
Were you into this before, or is this a new thing?
Let's just assume that anything nerdy I've been doing for a good 30
Oh wow,
years.
we could talk for hours.
Yeah, no, so yeah, this is that's my jam, and that's the stuff I do in my free time.
It just also shows you, it's like, okay, cool. Here's another uncomfortable truth. It's like women generally are just kind of boring. You ask a chick about their hobbies, okay? If you're going out on a date or, you know, you just have a conversation. If you are dumb enough to have a female friend as a man, you could just go and ask a chick. It's like, okay, what kind of hobbies do you get up to? And they'll give you such dumb answers like, well, I like to go shopping. If you live close to the beach, I like to go to the beach. I like hang out with my friends, and you know, I like to go out on the weekend, and you'll get such vacuous answers like that. Meanwhile, you have Henry Cavill, who is a certified stud in Hollywood, just openly giving you just a taste, letting you know that this guy knows everything that you need to know when it comes to Warhammer 40k, and he's more than willing to share his passion about his major hobby with the world at a moment's notice. If you want to talk about hobbies there for a second, he's got several of them. Building PCs, gaming. He's got a quote that's been making the rounds also recently, that he'd just rather, instead of just spending time with people, he'd rather, you know, play video games by himself. And one of his other famous stories was when he got the call to be Superman. He couldn't take the call at the moment because he was in the middle of a World of Warcraft raid. Like, he's legit when it comes to this stuff. But just the passion that he exudes for just telling a little bit about his hobby and then connecting with somebody else down the way. You could also see one of the chicks, it's like, oh my god, somebody who's got passion. Oh, I got an in on that one. Very, very interesting. Okay, so when you're actually your authentic self, but then you've also perfected yourself to, you know, be the best version of yourself. Doesn't matter what the content of conversation is. It's just if you present yourself as an authority with your tonality, with your delivery, people are going to notice that.
It's amazing, amazing. I'd love to see your armies, your collect Jeep.
See, is like Felicia Day doesn't really know all that much about it, but she already senses the passion that Henry's exuding and just wants to be a part of it. So that's another thing. This is a really good study, this 2-minute long clip of just how to be a pervasive talker, how to be somebody who can be engaging, and the different things you can also pick up as well, because we're not done yet.
Paint them yourself?
I do, yes.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but just look at, okay, it's like, okay, the person that said, oh, that's so cool. That's a chick who's standing upright, and then you got the blonde that's just slunk back in her chair, just mad that nobody's paying attention to her for 50 seconds.
Is it?
That is really, it's cool.
Yeah, and then laughs again, dismisses. It's like, oh, just this nerd stuff. Why don't people focus on me? The show, as little as I know about the show, it's that, you know, it was less about The Witcher, the titular character, and more about the characters with tits.
Cool in a certain world.
I like painting.
Yeah, cool in a certain world, just trying to be dismissive. And again, she's reasonably attractive, and she's normally accustomed, especially in gatherings like this, to be getting the most attention. But because she's on the outside looking in, and I wouldn't dare lower to myself to this type of nerd conversation. I'm not a part of this certain type of world. Bitch, you're the star of a fantasy show. You're not above this stuff, okay? If you wanted to ingratiate yourself to the fans, to the public, you would go ahead and show just a little bit of a caring or an appreciative response to this stuff. But also just kind of harkens back to another controversial opinion. Now, women have sympathy. They don't necessarily have empathy for the male experience.
Mako, so I think I'd really
so
enjoy
therapeutic.
that.
I think you'd be surprised. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
actually
think I really would.
So is that your geeky thing, is painting?
It could be.
Yeah.
Henry might get me onto it.
Yeah, and there you can see right there, she's like, she has no idea. But then again, that's just somebody else who's just really engaged by the conversation, something else that you can draw in if you're talking from an authoritative standpoint. The way that she said, oh yeah, no, that's not really my thing, but I could really get into that if Henry got me into that. Also, just knowing that, you know, at a moment's notice, he could just go like that, and those panties would disintegrate.
Otherwise, it's, oh no, my geeky thing is probably cooking, like watching cooking videos.
No.
Yeah, there you go. That's women once again. Okay, what are your hobbies? I watch cooking videos. Cool.
No, that's wonderful. Listen, I like watching people renovate houses. I don't care. I'm shameless.
boring.
I love cooking.
Yeah, and she likes house renovating videos. Again, stereotypes, man. They're stereotypes for a reason.
As well, so that's probably why. Yeah, care about cooking.
But the painting thing, you could bring some, this is what you need to do. And
Just look at how disengaged old Pinky is right there. That's just ridiculous. And I don't know who the guy is over here, the guy who wants to play Necros, okay? You know, he's engaged in this conversation, mirroring the body language of the obvious strongest male in the room. Like, come on, man. There's so much shit you can learn from this. This is why, okay? When I see people going over clips like this, they're missing so many fundamental details.
in your trailers, on the off time during season 3, you paint minis and you just
We don't
get
have what's off time?
Off time, yeah.
Exactly. Guys like that, they're busy all the time, even when they're not filming.
This is an interesting. I like this concept though. Yeah, it's good.
And again, you know, Blondie in the middle there, I just can't relate to that because I know I'm busy all the time, but I just got other things to do.
Get some of that.
Yeah, can we bake that into the schedule?
Yeah, can we?
Off time.
It'll be like lunch hour and then painting time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she really wants to keep his attention, okay? It's like, I'm always going to bring it back to painting because, that was a fun thing to talk about. And maybe I got an in right there.
Henry's painting time.
Wait, are you going to join them into paint or do you have another?
Oh, I love painting. Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, yeah, I really like painting. Yeah, it's just, why haven't you talked to me lately? Yeah.
it's like
you're brilliant,
No, I
also.
actually genuinely love art. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems authentic. It seems very genuine. I love art. Yeah, no, yeah, art's great. Yeah, I like the stuff that you can put on your wall. Yeah.
Okay. I do geek out about that.
Ooh, somebody who couldn't read the room there to begin with. Oh, yeah, and then just realizing that, me trying to be above all of this stuff isn't going to ultimately end up working out. But, with all of these announcements recently, especially in the Marvel side of things and even some of the gaming stuff, it's really tough to get overly excited about any of this. But when I see somebody like Henry Cavill discuss something that he's passionate about, also knowing that he's going to be developing a series based on something that he is so passionate about, it does give me hope for the long-term health of entertainment. In the short term, it was going to be tough, but I think it's always darkest before the dawn. But I do think that we are, in fact, over the hump of all of this atrocious content that's out there. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we're in for another, 25 years of crap. But at the same time, looking at the financials of these industries and the way that they're contracting, like a Hispanic mother about to give birth to triplets, I think the groundhog just seen its shadow, and we're in store for another 6 more weeks of winter. But that's spring. That spring is right around the corner. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.